These families live in bamboo huts, dirt floors, plastic roofs. It's very, very, very impoverished. Hi, my name is Nathan Giddings. I'm from Texas. Um, I've been coming to Panama for about 15 years now, since 2012. Um, we have a ministry not only in the United States, but Costa Rica and also in Panama. And we mostly help the indigenous Nobi Indians. We do have some Panamanians, but mostly the indigenous. The ministry name is Ministering Grace Ministries. Our goal is to go out to the neediest of the needy and to break the poverty cycle through education. We share the gospel with every family. What we do is we have come up with a way to figure out what the families need in food. That we give them a third of what they need a month because we don't want to give 100% because we don't want to enable anybody not to work. These families live in bamboo huts, dirt floors, plastic roofs, in some conditions that most people in the United States would have never seen. It's very, very, very impoverished. A working man working for a Panamanian farmer makes $12 a day. The bus ride to school is about $1 a day. So if you've got 4 kids or 8 kids, as you can see, none of the kids go to school, and then at the age of 12, they're almost required to go to work for the farmer for another $12 a day, and we're trying to break that poverty cycle by keeping them in school. So when I originally came here in 2012, none of our kids were going to school, and now I would say 98% of them are going to school. It's kind of a requirement to be on our program. Not only do we deliver food, but we deliver everything they need: backpacks, school supplies. Here they wear uniforms, so little girls wear dresses and dress shoes and white blouses, and boys wear slacks and dress shoes and blue shirts. So we provide all that, and when they run out throughout the year, um, we give them more. We presently have like 70 kids. I think there's 135, give or take, members on our program right now. The need is huge here. Now, last year we have our first kid that is in college. We have 5 or 6 coming up that are wanting to go to college this next year. We need the funding to get them in college, and so they can get a good job and come back and help their families. I try to push what God has, the talents that God has given you. So each kid, I mean, it's not like, hey, I want to be a banker because I can make a lot of money doing a bank. But are you good at math? Are you good at, and well, not really. I don't like it. So I tried, well, maybe, I'm good at art, so we try to, well, maybe you should be like a graphic artist, or I love cooking, well, maybe you should take some cooking or become a chef, or the talents that God has given you, which is also hard here because the college is in Volcan. And they don't carry all the courses. So, like, we have one girl that wants to do graphic arts, but they don't offer that in Volcan. So, we are meeting with representatives and stuff to see actually if they can bring a satellite college to Caisán. And this building that we're sitting at right now has been offered to use that. I've talked to the principal of Caisán Central, and they've offered to also hold those classes there. So we're working with representatives to try to bring the college closer so our kids don't have to move away and they can stay in this area and build this area up. So I come here 3 times a year. It's generally in March or April. um, I start out in Costa Rica. We have a ministry there. I'm there for about 5 days, and I come here, and it's about a week here. And then I usually bring large groups. Like this July, I'm bringing 16 youth and 3 leaders, and then I'll come again in October. And we have other board members that try to offset, like James, that the founder of this ministry, he tries to offset and come when I'm not here. We have a full-time missionary on the ground here, so this isn't just when I come 6 weeks out of the year. This is going on throughout the year. Every month they get food and supplies, and then our missionary is getting phone calls.
Well, my name is Elisa Molek. Um, I've been living in Volcan for more than 35 years. My beginnings in feeding program started when Pastor James came and asked me if I want to be part of the mission. At that time, I just quit my job. I was under a lot of stress, and I really didn't want an office job. So actually, he told me the story of Jonas and Nineveh. And thinking about that and that God has called me, I make the decision of start and working with the feeding program. And it was hard at the beginning, you know, you're not used to it. And then I start to meet the families and knowing them better and better, and they start, you know, we start this connection with the childrens, with the women, and well, I'm here 5 years later doing this job, and it's not a job actually. I feel like it's I can give God I can give God also part of my time and all the blessings He has given me. I mean, when I finish the week of bringing the food, usually I get calls from some of the families. I have to take them sometimes to the hospital or do some paperwork for different things. We have helped families with their properties, you know, their land, and the ministry cover uh, all the paperwork, all lawyers and that kind of things. And we go to David and talk to the lawyers to fix that kind of situations. I feel like there are things that even the community can help with, because many unfair things happen and we can see that kind of things. But sometimes it's really hard for us to get into and solve, you know, everyone's problems. It's hard. But okay, we can pray, but also I think we can take some actions in that kind of situations.
So I wanted to tell a story of many years ago about a building in here in Caisán. It was a lumber yard, and then it closed down, and then it became a bar, and they built this arena in the bar that people could sit up in the top, and it has a circle down in the middle so they could have cockfighting, and a lot of our some of the men on our in our families that we go and see were spending all their money at the bar. Me and James, the founder of this ministry, would drive down the streets on Friday and Saturday mornings, and there would be beer cans and beer cups and trash spread throughout the city. One day on a Sunday, we were going to church, and there were two Nobi Indians laying dead in the ditch. We didn't leave them there. There was people all over around them already. And what had happened was they were at the bar at night. They didn't have any flashlights, and they're walking in the middle of the road. Then a drunk driver leaving the bar hit them and killed both of them. Me and James had prayed for months and months and months for that bar to be closed down, because it was just a terrible situation for this community. Anyways, they finally ended up closing down the bar, which was an answer from the Lord. Then several months later, a couple came with us on our feeding program, or on our program, and there was a little boy. His name was Alex, and his uncle. His parents had just left him with their uncle, and the uncle didn't have a way to keep the boy, so he was going to take him to an orphanage, and an orphanage here in Panama is not a good place to be. So James had talked the uncle, if we started to bring them food and could find a place for them to live, if he would keep the boy so the boy would have a better upbringing. He agreed. We found the only thing we could find in a short notice was a barn, which was in a cow pasture. And so they were living in there, and monthly we took them food. Well, this couple, Tracy and Paul Martinez, came with, and they saw Alex, and it broke their heart so bad that they wanted to do something to change what was going on here in Caisán. And it just so happens that Paul is like the head of the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, the Southwest Division. He's planted, like, from what I've heard, is like over 200 Boys and Girls Clubs throughout America. And they ended up buying that bar. They have turned it into a missions club, which is based on Boys and Girls Club. And one day I was there shortly after they opened it, and their manager asked me, they said, "Hey, come back at 11 o'clock because we're going to do baptisms." And so we stopped what we were doing on our missions work, and we came there, and they were baptizing kids down in the ring in the middle of the cockfighting ring. So it's just amazing how when you pray that God can take just a terrible thing, just like in our lives, he can take us and turn us around and just turn it into something beautiful. And then there's another story. We work together with the boys, the missions club. We're separate entities, but we work together like the church should do, and we see great results from it. They replaced the roof on the Boys and Girls Club several years ago, and most of our families live in bamboo huts with plastic roofs, and it leaks in on their beds and everything. So they took, this is a big building, and they took all the metal off the roof and they donated it to us, and we were able to divvy it out to each family, 10 sheets, 20 sheets here all over Caisán. So a lot of our families now have metal roofs. There's just multiple things that have happened. I was at another one of our kids' house. We came up there. They have 8 kids all going to school. The mother asked me if I could give her $20 so they could pay for their copies at school, and they didn't have the money, and they were back behind, and the school wasn't going to let them do any more copies. And I said, yes, I have the money. And then they needed money for a bus fare. And I said, okay, I can do that too. But then in my mind, I'm thinking, what about next month? And what about next month? And what about next month? Because this is going to be a continual. And so Elisa, our missionary here, got on the phone, and she called the director of the missions club, and she said, hey, can we get this family sponsored by the missions club? And by the time we left there, they said, yes, we will. And you tell those kids that when they come to missions club, all their copies are free. And it just so happens that we drive our bus by there every morning, and we'll pick them up and give them a ride to school. So not only did it solve the problem of the copies, but really their whole family got a raise because they didn't have to pay $1 each of their children to go to school. So it was a win-win situation. But anyways, that's when ministries work together. It expands the kingdom in a mighty way. It's a shame that we have to say, oh, this is my ministry. This is my, different people, different ministries have different giftings, and if we learn to work together, we can really expand the kingdom.
The ministry name is Ministering Grace Ministries. We have a Facebook page, also a website. We have PayPal and Venmo, or you can reach out and message me. I can give you my address or the address to the ministry, and we could sure use your help.